Hi everyone, it's super exciting to be here today, and we will talk about the role that business processes play for AI and in building AI. And it is a topic that has been mentioned throughout the summit already, so we hope that we can bring a new angle to it. And let's start with our own SAP internal AI journey. And we have over 80 AI use cases live. Internally, we also have an impressive backlog of AI use cases and thousands of colleagues that are using our internal AI solutions in their daily life. So we have seen the tremendous value that AI can bring for the business processes. And I also know that that's something that a lot of people are interested in, and a lot of companies are interested in as well. So let's see if you are with us on this journey. So please raise your hand or indicate otherwise if you are also creating AI to change and improve the business processes. I see one hand raised and more hands, and it's blinding a bit. So I think that's something that we definitely share all together. And I think there is something else that we share on this journey, and that's the challenges of building AI. So if you have ever experienced challenges creating AI, can you please also raise your hand? OK, I see somebody raising two hands. That's, I think that probably summarizes the overall experience, and legs are raised too. Yeah, so it's probably impossible to build AI without challenges, because AI is constantly evolving. It's something that gets new models out every day. We get new data structures every day, and it's very hard to adjust to everything that comes at us. So this is one of the reasons why building AI is, as such, quite challenging. But we also, when we think about AI in context of business processes, we should never forget that there are two other elements that are alive as well, and that's the business processes and the data, because they are the results of what our company and our employees and our colleagues do every day. So when we are thinking of AI, it's not something static, built on a static data set. It's something that comes from the real day-to-day life business of a company. So of course, we cannot isolate AI and think of it in a closed environment. It's always together with the live data and with the live business process. So when we take the perspective of a business process, we have three core pillars that we can cover. And business processes will allow us to create measurable value of AI solutions. We also will have a chance to improve the day-to-day life of our colleagues and of the employees and companies. And most importantly, for me as a data scientist, we will also understand the data generating process in the company much better, leading to higher quality AI use cases. So three pillars that we are talking about today: value, on people, and data. And let's start with the value. That's something that is essentially the core goal of any enterprise AI use case. We want to see the real business value. We want to see the impact that our AI solutions have. So we want to see the downstream effect. Imagine we have a use case in marketing, and we can actually see its effect on the entire lead-to-cash process. So here's an example from one of our internal use cases, where we see multiple billions impacted by the information that we give to our colleagues. And this, of course, proves the value of AI, and it is only possible if we look at the business processes around AI. And if we do it not just for marketing, but for the entire process map of a company, we can measure how long different steps take. We can run A/B tests to actually understand what is the real value of AI, and we can also find the use cases that allow us to bring the highest possible value to the company with AI. And this value can be monetary. It can be time value, so optimizing and running faster. But it can also be the value of experience to the people, because ultimately, it's the people who make the company run, and it's the people who run the business processes. So I think everybody knows it's easy to build POCs with AI. We can create a forecasting model. It's very easy. You put some data in, and you see positive result. What is difficult is building a model that will be adopted and will get used by the end users, and that will actually solve their problems. So as data scientists, we have historically been addressing this while going to run business interviews with the end users, trying to identify what are the manual tasks that they're having, trying to create AI to solve these parts, and letting them to focus on higher value tasks. We also have tried to identify actionable insights to make sure that we provide them additional information and not just multiplying the information they already have, to make sure that the decision-making that we augment with AI is becoming smarter and not just faster. So when we look at the business processes and when we look at AI in the context of business processes, we are able to find the sweet spot where the AI use cases are providing value to our colleagues, and they're also solving the real business problems. This way, our colleagues will have time to actually enjoy a simplified working environment and an improved working experience, but they will also be able to innovate and to transform the business processes inside out. And now, let's come to the, as I said, maybe the most exciting part of the pillars to me as data scientist, and that's understanding the data generating process. When I say data generating process, it's the process in a company, the business process, that we observe in the outcome of, for example, a table or a field. So imagine you see a field where the data from other parts of a table is replicated. First, as a data scientist, you would question why is this happening, but if you understand and evaluate the business process behind this, you might find the person who actually has the job of copying the data from a table and putting it into a text field. Or if you find a field that has conflicting values that seem to actually have a different meaning, it may be that this field is used differently in different parts of the process, in the beginning for one value, for an estimate, for example, and then down the road for the real one. So as data scientists, we actually often see this as a data challenge in the data cleaning process, but actually reflects how the company runs. And we can address it in the cleaning, but it's much more efficient to address it from the business process side to improve the data foundation and to create the high data quality foundation that can be used for multiple uses in the company. And when you think about the data generating process, we should think about two essential parts of it. First, it's the technical part, the systems that are connected with each other, the fields that are filled, manual, do we allow manual inputs, do we have validators for manual inputs, how long is the data persisted, and are the tables mergeable, for example. But then we also need to think about the second part of the data generating process, and that's the goal of the data generation. Often as data scientists, we face the issue of data being collected for reporting, which has a different granularity, for example, aggregations, and a different historization compared to what we need for AI development. And if historically we were addressing it by creating different data streams for just AI, we actually nowadays have solutions like data products that will allow us to create a data foundation that's shared between AI and reporting and other users. And one of these uses is actually process mining. And this is addressing a lot of the topics that I mentioned that were historically done by data scientists on their own. But Shelly, my colleague and an expert in process mining, will now tell you how you can simplify the life of a data scientist as well while using these tools.
Thank you, Polina. And I would like to share how we have learned while implementing the AI use cases internally in SAP, as well as working with our customers, as well as partners. how we discover how process mining can help with data science and with your AI model building journeys. So data is the most important part, and using process mining, you can find the most meaningful data, and by feeding those meaningful data into your AI model, you can generate relevant use cases. And I want to share our learnings together with Polina in 3 pillars, which is process, systems, and data. I will just start quickly from the process. As process mining specialists, we always say, using process mining, you can discover the digital footprint of your IT landscapes. From the picture on the right, you can see all the different departments sits in your business, from logistics, from sales, from marketing, from finance. And most of them are actually having different process, right? Most likely they have different to-be process, and you can find out about that when working with the process owner to identify the items, the event that has to happen. Using the process mining tool like SAP Signavio, you can find out the events, like the yellow boxes here, what has to happen one after the other. Take a good example Polina mentioned earlier with the lead to cash sales processes. When you receive the lead, and then you have the information entered there, maybe you have entered it wrong with the expected revenue generated there into wrong format, and then when they are populated into opportunity, they are actually got into null value. And when you are creating quotations, you don't get those valuable information which is actually entered in the lead, right? So it is very important to look into the data from the business process perspective and end-to-end process to find out the missing gold in your data. Take another example in your purchase-to-pay processes. Maybe you have a request to purchase in your Ariba systems, and then you have then they got approved, go into a process purchase order into SAP systems. But then it's very interesting always for us to find out the discrepancies in between the systems. How many were generated there? How many were actually replicated over? And maybe there were some errors. So unlike you look into the schemas, like usually you do with the data science, to find out the schema in the attributes, what does that mean on each columns? In process mining, we can help you to find out the history of your data entries. Why is there missing value? What happened before and after processes? And then by doing that, you're able to identify the meaningful data. And we always say garbage in, garbage out. Now that you got a very good data, you are able to generate way more, way stronger use cases. And with that exercise, you also ensure the data quality and relevance for your user. And of course, it doesn't stop there. With process mining, you are also able to help to find out the manual tasks. Like Polina mentioned earlier, for example, if the code entry was being done manually, it was done maybe 30 minutes. And then using your AI solutions, you're able to reduce that to just 1 click. And then by multiply to maybe 10 people, you can save so much time. And then that's the power of process mining to really help you to really evaluate the value Polina mentioned. That is the core of your AI solution building, right? And then the second is to eliminate bottlenecks. In process mining, we often say, try to find out a cycle time, which steps in between takes the longer cycle time, or is there any loops, is there any reworks? For example, how many times was the quotation being changed? And then it's always very interesting to find out why was it being changed, and is it because the customer information was wrongly being populated in, or something else, right? So it's very important to look into the end-to-end process perspective. Okay, let's say you identify and eliminate the bottlenecks, and then the most important thing is actually to use process mining to uncover the impact of the changes. Let's say you implement these AI solutions in this part of the process, and you're able to use process mining to find out how much time you actually saved, right? So you can do much better management report to say, okay, I saved so much of your hours. So that's the first part, which is process. Second part is systems. Let's say you identify 10 systems that you need to get the data from. Okay, you understand maybe this data has to get it from here and instead of the other places. We found out, together with the internal and our customers, actually not only SAP, but also our competitors, but other providers, they are working on doing a lot of natively integrated data. take SAP Spend Control Tower as an examples in natively integrated SAP application like SAP Ariba, SAP Fieldglass, SAP Concur, as well as SAP S/4HANA. On top of that, also SAP Sustainability Footprint Management data. Well, that's a known name, isn't it? But I'm just saying it's actually integrated into so many different SAP and non-SAP systems into a single data lake that is available for use. So your data engineer don't have to do a lot of manual work, and which is also error-prone. So let's say you got 10 systems, you need to consolidate the data, and 4 of them is already natively integrated. What about the rest? So there are a lot of great tools. There are great data products such as SAP DataSphere, especially with their semantic features, such as in the SAP DataSphere Data Marketplace, which already have some external data, like trustworthy third-party data, available for you to integrate that into your unified data model in just one click. And you can actually also have data uploaded there to share. You can specify to say this data is available for whom and for what use. And then that say, OK, in this great data marketplace, this data ecosystems, your data is not yet all consolidated. Like one of our customers have a great, in their lead-to-cash process, they actually have a campaign management system, which is created by themselves. And those data is, of course, not in data marketplace. It is then possibly to be modeled easily by Data Builder, which is a graphic interface that you can add those data together quickly. So all those tools actually really save a lot of time of the data user, data engineers, and also make it easy to maintain. So to conclude that we want to share about our learnings is to utilize the power of process mining to really identify the relevant training data so that you don't get non-relevant data or you don't give the biased data into the model. Or you actually can give more information to your model, right? Second is to find those natively integrated data so that can save your time. You don't have to look into all the different APIs and trying to figure out how to connect them together and then unfortunately make mistakes, right? There are some data available for you. And then lastly, to manage all the data together through some of the great data products like SAP DataSphere. And we want to close it with a great sentence we love, and then we always say it together, saying data is alive, and it is alive along with your business process. And we believe, like we both, that process mining and data science or AI model building journey should go hand in hand together. That you can not only in the beginning with the data injection, business understanding, but also in the end to really evaluate how your model has been generated. And for that, also you have way better business understanding. So that will all help with your AI solution adoption. Thank you so much for having us. And thank you.